3, hit it!
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to today's Caffeine for the Soul. And today I wanted to share something that came up on a program I was running recently, and I was working with a small group coaching that I do a few times a year called Infinite Potential, Infinite Possibilities, or IPIP in our world. And we were talking about success and about life-work balance and about how difficult many of us find that attempt to be all in on our work without giving up our life, or to be all in on our life without giving up our work and the fruit of our work. And you were talking about the different ways, the different measures for success. And one of the most common is money. If I'm making as much money as I want, or more money than I think then I'm successful. And if I make more money, I'm more successful. For some people, it's about respect and acclaim. And obviously, we're all too deeply spiritual and wise to care about that stuff. But some people, I don't know if you'll reckon this, really care about what other people think about them. And so success is measured by how admired you are, how respected you are. And not necessarily globally, though for some people it's globally. For a lot of people, it's by the people that matter. And that might be your family, or that might be people in the know. But that's one of the ways people measure success. Another is freedom. One of the definitions of success I remember learning growing up when I first started kind of studying business success is, that success is being able to do what you want, when you want, with whoever you want, whenever you want, something like that. And so that kind of freedom of movement, freedom of action was a measure of success. And I remember the first sort of real look in a different direction I had around success came when I was reading a book called Second Chance by the enlightened Scottish welder Sid Banks. And in the book, very early on, there's sort of a seeker character and a wise finder, I don't know what you would call him, but a wise character. And the seeker asks the wise character, well, what's your definition of success? And the wise character says, happiness and contentment. And the seeker goes, is that it? And the wise character says, yes. And that really struck me, because I realized that if I was truly happy and content, it wouldn't really matter how much money I had in the moment, how much freedom I had in the moment, how much respect I had in the moment. And I thought, wow, that's kind of true. And it became an actual measure for success. And I remember being interviewed about my life, my success in my field. It must have been close to a decade ago now. And the interviewer said, and what's your 5-year vision for your life? And I said and meant, kind of was surprised to hear it come out of my mouth. But I said, well, I'm really happy and I love my life. So 5 years from now, I'd like to be really happy and love my life. And I'm not that bothered about what it looks like. And so when I was teaching in this group, the phrase that came up for that was quality of life. What if the most helpful measure of success was quality of life? Now, that might be to do with the quality of stuff that you have, but it's not going to be the amount of stuff you have. It might be related to an amount of money, but it's not going to be how much money. Because you may have already realized not every dollar or pound or euro is worth the same, depending on what you had to do in order to get it. And as we were talking about quality of life as a measure of success, which obviously includes the quality of your experience, it reminded me of something I used to teach about that I would call the second half of the goal. Because I noticed that a lot of my clients would come with goals, and there was sort of an unspoken second half of the goal, which was, I want to make $1 million so that I don't have to worry about money. I want to make $1 million and then my parents will be proud of me. I want to make $1 million so that I can approach the man or woman in my life that I really want to be with. And I realized that those second half of the goals, those unspoken, often unconscious, unrecognized second half of the goals, usually got in the way of the first half. It's really not as hard to make money as it is to impress your parents. Well, I don't know your parents, but you get the idea. Well, when you make that shift to quality of life, there's a new second half of the goal. And it's very simple. It's, I want to make $1 million. I'm just using that as an example. I want to make $1 million as a part of my wonderful life. And if that's not true for you, then that's not something that's going to take you towards a higher quality of life. That's not a helpful measure of success. It's not a particularly helpful target. So if you want to play with this, what I encourage you to do is take out your goal list. And if you don't have a goal list, you probably have a unconscious goal list. And if you don't have an unconscious goal list, don't do the exercise. Maybe you've already got a wonderful quality of life. But if you do, take your goal list and for each thing on the list, add the second half of the sentence as a part of my wonderful life. And see if it makes you want it all the more, or if it negates it in some way. And if it makes you want it all the more, great, go for it. But if there's a conflict between the thing you think you want and the wonderful life, not only is it going to be hard to get it, but it isn't going to feel worth it if you do. And you're going to start saying cliches like, is that all there is? And gosh, I have everything I wanted, but I don't want what I got. So take your time with it. Don't make too big a deal out of it, but just explore, what if quality of life was the highest goal when it comes to measuring success? And what if you could take anything that you want and go for it as a part of your wonderful life? Have fun, learn heaps, happy exploring, and I'll talk with you soon.